Hi guys, my name is Annabelle from Horizon Cosplay and welcome to the 12 Days of Cosplay Christmas. Today we are going to be making Hobbit afternoon tea, which involves making a Victoria sponge cake and brewing some very special Christmas themed tea. So with that, let's talk about the ingredients. So what ingredients do you need? Well, to start off with, some eggs, some self-raising flour, some vanilla extract, some butter, or I'm using margarine, and some sugar. And yes, I know I have a giant bag of caster sugar. I brought this for last cosplay Christmas when I was making all that gingerbread, and no, I still haven't used it up. And trust me, I make quite a few cakes, so this has lasted me a while. One more thing I'm going to need though is this cute set of vintage scales that I brought just for this cosplay Christmas as we're doing so much cooking. I love vintage scales. I grew up using a set quite similar to this, and as my parents have yet to gift me that set, I managed to find my own, and this actually came with a matching cast iron book holder and tea rack, and I'm just really excited to use it. So making a Victoria sponge cake is actually super easy, and oh, by the way, the reason we're making a Victoria sponge and not a Bilbo tea cake is because Ben doesn't like tea cakes, so this is our alternative option. Victoria sponge cake was actually the first recipe that I ever memorized, and so I can tell you right now that the easiest way to make it is simply to pick a weight. So we are going to go 8 ounces, which is this weight here, and you measure everything into 8 ounces except for the eggs, which you do 1 egg equals 2 ounces. So 8 ounces means that I'm going to need 4 eggs. Long story short, it's time to get going.
Now, it's important to say when using these kinds of scales, always try and measure out the dry ingredients first, which is why we're starting with the sugar. Once that's done, I measured out the butter before adding in a sprinkle of salt, which, yes, I didn't mention earlier, but trust me, a little salt makes the sweet stuff stand out even more. Then it's time to get a wooden spoon and cream all that together until it's a smooth paste. Next, I measured out the flour before realising I forgot about the eggs, so I cracked those in and added a slosh of vanilla extract for good measure, and then gave it a really good stir. Then, using a metal spoon, I folded in the flour. Why do we use metal and wooden spoons for different parts of this recipe? Honestly, I have absolutely no idea. So, in fear that I would be accused of just making more washing up, I decided to Google it. The answer, as far as I can understand it at least, and feel free to correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, is that food clings to the wooden spoons and rolls off the metal ones. Also, fat can hide in the wood, making it more sticky and can affect the flavour. Yeah, not sure I really understand it either, but it's how I've always made Victoria sponge cakes, so I'm going to keep doing it like that. The batter was a little thick, so I added a dash of milk, and then it was absolutely perfect. Another thing my mum always taught me was to take a spoonful and hold it up, count to 3 Mississippis, and if the batter drops on the third, it's the perfect consistency. With that done, it was time to butter the cake tin, add a layer of flour to the butter to help it not stick, and then put it in the oven for a good half an hour. Time that I spent productively petting the kitten.
That definitely looks like a nice cake. Test and make sure it's cooked all the way through. A little bit runny.
I then maybe forgot to film actually taking the cake out of the oven, but this is what it looks like. Lovely! Also, yes, the ends were trimmed. Why? Well, because you have to taste test these things, of course.
Good morning everyone. So our first job for today is, as the Victoria sponge cake has cooled down overnight, to make the world's best buttercream to go inside of it. And so for that, I'm going to use my electric scales because I want this to be really good. Get some icing sugar, some margarine, a little bit of vanilla flavouring, sieve, and I'm using a saucepan to mix the buttercream in. And I'm using a saucepan to mix the buttercream in because I might have used up all the bowls in the kitchen. Because this is the last thing to do, I'm too lazy to wash one bowl up. So I'm just going to use a saucepan, mix the buttercream in that, and then wash everything up in one go afterwards.
With the buttercream, I essentially just creamed the butter, icing sugar and vanilla extract together before giving it a whisk to make it extra floofy. My friend then arrived, which meant not a lot of filming got done, but while I was talking to her, Ben secretly added the buttercream and jam to the cake. So it was then just to make the tea. Now, one thing you all might not know about me is that I love tea, so much so that I always have several different kinds in the house. So today, as we are doing this for Cosplay Christmas, I've chosen to make a T2 Christmas tea called Mulled Wine Magic.
Well, while the tea's brewing, I think that I should try a spot of this very nice Victoria sponge. The buttercream and jam have been a little bit squished, but don't think that should affect the taste too much. And it looks damn lovely. I do normally make Victoria sponge cakes in round cake tins, but just because I'm going to be packing this for lunch, I wanted it in easy slices that I could lay flat in my lunchbox over the next week or two. Smells good. can't talk now because my mouth is full. But it tastes amazing. The cream is creamy, the jam is jammy, the cake is perfect. Definitely can't complain about any of that. So I suppose the real question now is, how does it taste with the tea? Hopefully it's had enough time to brew once I've eaten one more bite of cake. Alright, that smells like it's brewed enough. So I went for a tea by T2 called Mulled Wine Magic, and T2 are my favourite tea company just because they make really nice teas and lots of different flavours. Oh, that's divine. Goes perfectly with the cake. Yeah, I'm going to be quite happy sitting here eating and drinking while watching a festive movie of some kind for at least the next hour or two. And so I can get on with that, guys, I suppose that I should bid you au revoir. Until we meet again, please do subscribe to make sure you don't miss out on any other days of Cosplay Christmas this year. Do like this video if you enjoyed it, and leave me a comment down below for, I don't know, suggestions for next year. What are you guys doing for Christmas? Let me know. I just like having a conversation, to be quite honest with you. So have a beautiful day and a wonderful festive season, and I will see you in the next episode of Cosplay Christmas. Bye!